Shalom and good afternoon to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here with us today in the preceding word. The topic for today is confrontation, and this is part of the Kingdom Principles series. So, does confrontation mean argumentative? What does Messiah say about it? Was he confrontational in his overall scheme of his life? And what con did he come to front before the nation? Well, we're going to learn today. So whilst I continue through with these announcements, why don't you take the opportunity to share or pin somebody into the room if you feel this broadcast would add value to their life. We're also here every Monday, Wednesday and Friday under the preceding word at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, we are accessible via Facebook, where you can find us at VWJ Ministries. We are here every Wednesday for our weekly Bible study under Jerash Kingdom Ministry, but we broadcast at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and all of Apostles' broadcasts have been uploaded. If they're not here on the replay on Clubhouse, you will find all of Apostles' broadcasts at VWJ Ministries at Facebook, so you can access those for your pleasure. Also, we're here every Thursday for our Bible study, our Bible book club, at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're continuing to take a slow and exhaustive read through the book of Genesis. We honor the Sabbath, so we start our Midrash Sabbath studies every Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where all we do is know how to Sabbath and explore and discover what we will come to find through our studies, going through the Torah, which is Genesis right down through to Deuteronomy. We pick those studies back up at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. We want to extend an invitation to you, if you have not already, that you can join us every Sunday for our weekly church service, which is our morrow after Sabbath service, which commences at 10:15, where we broadcast live from Facebook, and we open the doors for you to join us here on Clubhouse. Don't forget, we've got visibility on Instagram, so you can find us at VWJ Ministries. It's a pleasure serving you, Apostle. We're very excited for today's topic. Over to you.
And Shalom, I'm so glad you're excited, because I am just as excited as I can be. And remember, all of you who are with us today, we're in like our chilled out 4th of July celebration mode for the United States of America. And it's called the 4th of July. All right. There's a lot that goes with that. I got issues with it, but I am living in, I believe, the greatest nation today on the planet. I did not say I'm satisfied and happy with it all, but I am glad to be living where I live today. I'm going to be touching on some very sensitive social issues coming up in these next 2 weeks, particularly after this shooting that we just had with this gentleman by the name of Jalen out in Akron, Ohio, who was shot literally, and he was shot 60 times. He has 60 injuries. From 8 police officers emptying their clip into him. And while he is it's reported and purported that he supposedly had a firearm and shot through his car at 10 police cars while he was speeding away. And then when he got cornered, he jumped out of his vehicle, no weapon in hand, and began to run across the park field, and 8 officers behind him running on foot began to unload their entire magazine towards this gentleman. There were what we call 90 bullets, shells that were found. 60 of them touched at some point the body of this young man. I want to make it clear to you guys, I am officially done. So next week, you're going to get some real raw and conscious conversations from a soul that has declared peace and will admonish you to obey the laws of the land, and we will always obey the laws of the land. Our issue is now occupying until Messiah comes, and there are some of us who have a more difficult job at getting that accomplished just on the fact that they are a certain pigmentation. I will be addressing a great deal of issues on next week. So you may want to be here. Matter of fact, you might not think I'm a Christian by the time I tell you everything I want to share with you next week. And I want to make sure I'm very loaded with my dialogue, and I'm aware of all the pressure it can bring to my door, it can bring to our ministry, and it can bring, if we want to listen, to our civil conscience. So it's going to be an interesting time. So when we talk about the 4th of July today, we talk about a lot of different things that are the Independence Day for these United States of America. I am so glad I live in the United States of America, because unfortunately, as an individual of my status, being an African descendant of slaves, who does not have a country that is a second citizenship for me, the United States of America is the safest place for any of you who are considered to be African descendants of slaves who are here in the United States by virtue of slavery a few hundred years ago. If you are here as a person pigmented and having melanin in your skin, and you are here by choice, we are talking about a different conversation. But for those of us who have been born here, considered now the indigenous people of said land, we have some issues that don't work towards our favor. But if you are of that persuasion, you are still living in the best nation for your situation. That is both comforting and extremely discomforting at the same time. But I'm not leaving America to go live anywhere else that I've not already been a part of and hold the dialect, because we're going to talk about all that next week. Y'all all right with that? If y'all all right with that, flash your mics for me so you'll know what we're going to be expecting and talk about. There is an issue called racism. It is everywhere on the planet. Facebook, come on, Facebook, hit that heart sign. I got more sites than I got hearts and likes. Come on, Facebook, hit that heart sign, hit that like sign, hit that thumb sign. I'm officially done. I personally, just a few years ago, had to deal with another young man who was one of my basketball members on my team. I coached several teams. I run a pro-am league, and we had a league that if you won, you got a nice reward and trophies and all that stuff. And we dealt with keeping the thugs, keeping the boys off the block. We were giving them space to come and play, and it was really growing and ramping up. And one gentleman happened to be a part of some nefarious activities, as probably everybody in the gym to some degree was, including some of the church groups that came in. And you can also look this story up. The young man's name was Tank. Tank was a gentle giant, but he was a red-nosed pit bull if you wanted to fight, and he came through the streets. He had my respect, and I had his. And everybody around him knew you don't play with Tank. And Tank had got himself in some stuff, and he did. He stole some cars. That was the story. That was the history. But a sting was put out on him, and the officers trapped him in the projects in which he was visiting someone in. And he got into the car to try to get away from the officers, both undercover and regular police vehicles. I'm not going to say what city it's in, but if you know me, you might know where I'm at. County and the PD, but it was primarily county's jurisdiction. They came in and they pinned his car in. He was in his car, pinned in, and he took the car, put it in drive, and drove forward and bumped the back of one of the sheriff's vehicles to try and wedge his way out. He did it once. All 10 officers unloaded They unloaded their magazines into that car. I guess Apostle's tired of being summoned in by law enforcement to bring peace because of a riot you've incited. They shot that man 100 times. Most of their bullets went into the apartment complexes behind them, shot a person through the wall, sitting there, living their life in this apartment complex. So what I'm going to talk about next week is not because I'm reading stories in the paper, because I've got to comfort these families and keep men who are quite capable of really doing some damage with or without law enforcement contention. And we're always called in because they know we're close to the streets. Some of us who are real pastors don't walk around bragging about our collars. And at the end of the day, we keep telling them that we have to work with LEOs and LEOs have to work with our communities. And then we go through all these campaigns. We go through all of these protests for justice. But it's not justice. It's just us trying to live. And Lady Justice weighs in how she feels necessary. And I want to say this and get off this subject because I'm starting to hurt again. If you live in the continental US of A, and for many of you who do not understand how policing came to be in the United States of America, and though I am a citizen here, there are still legislation and issues on our dockets and in our Constitution, in our amendments that have not been addressed, that need to be addressed, and have only been sent additional edicts to try and offset an edict that is set, rather than rescinding an edict that says any person of my color, it still sits on our books today, is only 3/5 of a man. Now, you might think that we are so far gone in our society that, Apostle, you've lost your mind. Why would you say such a thing? Because it still sits on the dockets. It still sits on the records. It still sits in the U.S. Constitution. It still sits in our amendments that persons of my nature are only 3/5 of a man. Now, why do I say that, and why have I become this way today? After seeking peace all my life, and I will continue to seek peace, I will follow peace with all men. But if you only see me as a certain portion of a man, clearly we're on two different levels. Now, for those of you who might not understand and say we've made major progress, we have. We're grateful for the pioneers who have gone forth before us: Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass. Today is a great day to honor him. And many, many more. I don't have time to give them off. Rosa Parks, with all due respect, that Sojourner Truth, all the great, we can go line and line and line. But here's the catch. I'll talk more about it next week. The policing began, for those of you who are coming from all over the world and might not know why I have a big issue with the Black Lives Matter movement, because the people making the Black Lives Matter are not the Black lives that matter when it comes to the issue we contend with. Now, I want to make sure we're clear on this. And I'll be very specific all week next week, maybe even this week. Today's Monday. I may even change and start on Wednesday. But here's the catch. Policing in this states of the United States of America, there's a slogan that goes with it. And to all of my African-American and other ethnicity LEOs, I love y'all. I really do. But the system doesn't work for everybody. It does not. And we want to fix it, don't know how to fix it. So I just want to remind you how it got started. So maybe we can go further back. We can go back. We can go far enough. We can go far back enough to know where it began. There's a phrase we use in the United States of America. And if you are coming from a different country and you have become a police officer here in the United States of America, you do not know what I'm about to say to you. And you may feel some kind of way about it. I don't care. Here is a truth. Policing and sheriffing began in this country. And there is a motto that we hail today. Put it on a badge, paint it on a car, and say, to protect and serve. You would think it just falls into a conversation that incorporates just naturally, protect and serve the citizens of the United States. That original conversation comes from, amongst other stuff we'll talk more about, an idea that they were protecting and serving the plantation owner's property. So when the plantation's property would run away, people will be deputized to drag back and protect the plantation owner's property. Don't ever forget that that's how policing started here. Now that might help you understand why there are certain people who can walk away from a car stop and certain people who can't. If Jalen would have been in Buffalo at that horrific shooting where a young man went in and targeted an area of a non-ethnic preference for him. He went in, he drove 2.5 hours away to get to this marked place where he went hunting Black people. He killed and shot so many people and walked away. Another situation some years ago in Carolina, young man went into another institution of faith while service was rendered and began to shoot at random in that place what he saw as contrary to his interests. And this young man walked away when the police arrived, loaded with weapons, ammunition, not for the sense of protecting himself in the event of an altercation, but for the purpose of hunting and performing a mass shooting. And this young man walked away and was taken to Burger King. There is nothing in the world to convince me any longer. LEOs, I love y'all. We all are friends, but we have a system that you are a part of that unless you guys help us fix this, it's not going to get fixed. And if Jalen, this gentleman who was just shot in Akron, Ohio, had been any one of those two individuals, he would still be dead. But if either of those two individuals would have been in Jalen's situation, running from the police in their car and jumped out into the park to run, both of them, I firmly believe, without doubt, and it's going to take Elohim to come down here and tell me differently, both of those individuals would still be alive today. So we got a lot to talk about. It affects us as believers because right now you have people like myself who are admonishers of following the law. But there are some things we need to uncover, or I should say, I dare say dig up, but I think we need to go back to the roots of why policing began, because I think we're overlooking it while we're trying to make new legislation against gun law, new legislation against, who goes to jail for how long, and drug charges and all. We're going to talk about all this convolutedness in our country that affects our global view with other nations, and other nations who do not know. All they see is what CNN, MSNBC, BBC, the BBB, the AP, wherever they are putting out. And we've not pulled the curtain back to show them exactly where this stuff starts from and why it does not change. And then you just group other melanated people in and assume that there is this issue. Every nation has its racism. America is different. So when we start Black Lives Matter movements, we need to understand what we're talking about. This is why you don't get me protesting, because we don't know what we're protesting. I'm going to unveil this stuff, and I'm aware of the pressure that's going to come at me. So some of you, if you're a citizen of our Kingdom Post, if you're a citizen of DKM, if you're a citizen of VWJ Ministries, you may want to reconsider your citizenship. But if you know me, I'm going to keep it a bean, and you're not going to be able to contend with the presentations that we render. So when you understand that how America's police officers and sheriff departments came into fruition, how they were deputized, and the purpose for why they were deputized, it was to protect those who were wealthy and those who had property and those who had slaves. So if they were to protect and serve, they weren't protecting and serving the slaves. They were protecting and serving the owner's property. So when slaves who have nothing move into or are allowed into or are making to work at an area and there's a ruckus, the people that get protected are going to be the property owners who downtown at the town hall meetings has a state of renown. This is where we have to start. And we're going to talk about that on this coming. Matter of fact, we may just crank this up on Wednesday. I wanted to give it a whole 3 days. I think we're going to talk about it on Wednesday. Y'all all right with that? If y'all want to leave, y'all can leave. You know, that's cool. But I'm a Black man in America. If you don't know what that feels like to live every day, waking up every moment, every traffic stop, every time a cop is behind you, whether you wear a collar or not, then please don't judge me until you've heard me. And I'm one who has advocated for peace and have literally stopped some serious potential damage from happening in neighborhoods all over this country. And I don't put it on television. I don't broadcast it. It's because of my reputation and the people knew me. It's the world we live in. But I think after this last shooting, my perspective is drastically changed. To Yahweh be glory. He is the God of justice. But it won't be through protests the way we're doing protests that's going to make the change. We'll talk more about that this week. All right. It sort of kind of bleeds a little bit into what we're talking about right now. Y'all okay on Clubhouse, on Facebook? Y'all all right? Is everybody okay with this? I don't want y'all getting mad at me if you do. And I wish that my brothers were here. But I'm not interested in brothers who just want to pull out some guns, you know. I'm a licensed carry, and my son's a licensed carry. We teach the laws. So this is not about just retaliation. This is about understanding so that we can really get to the core of a matter that for some reason we keep skipping over. And I've been waiting to see somebody step up out of the doldrums of this and have a real platform. And it's clear we still want to hide the truth of why it exists and then come up with all these other narratives to get nonprofit funding for ridiculous campaigns that will render no real effect. I'm tired of being afraid to be stopped for a seatbelt violation. If you don't know what it feels like to live that every day and then worry because your son or your daughter in America doesn't have an accent from another country, you might want to tune in. And for those of you who are here with us in these United States and are of melanation, I want to give you some information so you don't get mad about the way this thing has to go. Y'all want to tune in this coming week. And every time my sons or my grandsons go out in the streets, I'm always looking for the call. I don't want to normalize it. And I think we've allowed ourselves to normalize it. If my son was in the military, I'd be okay expecting a knock on the door. Not for my son going down to the grocery store to get a box of Skittles. All right, let's get started into our program today. Moderators, do a reset for me and do a real abbreviated reset for me on this one. And we're going to get going.
Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today in the preceding word, where the topic is confrontation. And this is part of a discussion from the Kingdom Principles. You are here with us where we broadcast live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to add a comment, please note that you can join us on Facebook at VWJ Ministries. And also, if you're on the platform and you'd like to have a question or make a note, please just come off mic and one of the moderators will put you in queue once you've announced your name. We are here on Wednesday for Bible study at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on Thursday for our Bible book club, where we continue an exhaustive study through the read of the book of Genesis at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will follow up with more announcements after this session that Apostle has shared. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so very much, moderators. We got the best mods. I hope that you guys were with us on this past Sunday when Elder Rogers brought a dynamic word. I think it's apropos. Hold on. Help is on the way. We bless Yahweh for that word. I'm still gleaning off of it, chewing on it, picking my teeth right now, getting some of that protein that got caught up in my teeth out. And then I'm going to chew that up and swallow that too. Very good word, very good message. All right. And I want y'all to get this. It's a very important thing to remember what was being taught. All right. Let's get into some stuff today. Confrontation. The Bible says man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Now, I want to make sure that we get this and we understand this. I hope you guys are sharing this page. I won't be too much longer. I know I've already been 30 minutes into the program talking about an ad hoc issue, which we'll talk more about in detail later. But the subject matter for today, and we've lost a lot of our Facebook people. I hope it's a technical glitch, not a content, I can't stand you content issue. But I hope that it is an issue that technology has failed some people. So here's the catch. I want y'all to get this. I don't like Clubhouse right now. There we go. All right, much better. So, all right. I want to touch this next piece, guys. I'm sorry, I'm looking at an unnecessary issue for me right now, but I want to make sure we get this. Confrontation. Christians have an issue with confrontation. If you are of a certain ethnicity and you become confrontational, all of a sudden you become a person that is being volatile. You are becoming someone who is angry. And confrontation, I want to make sure we understand, is of a necessity, and our Savior spoke highly of it. However, people do not know, though you may know of it. Many people don't know how to operate in it. So you may know of a matter, not know how to operate in the matter. You may know what a hammer is, but you might not know how to properly use a hammer. You know a hammer for one thing, driving a nail. Well, certain hammers drive certain weights of nails. Certain hammers break through certain things. So there are certain types of hammers. Though you know about hammers, you may not know how to use hammers. And so today we know about confrontation, but we don't know how to use confrontation except for the one way most of us had it introduced to us, and that was negativity and argumentativeness. Now, let's deal with this in the proper context. You and I, who are believers in Messiah, we are to follow peace with all men. Oh, shatabababa, holiness without which no man shall see God. So you must be peaceful. If a man smacks you on the cheek, you turn the other cheek. All of these wonderful things we've learned within Christendom, which was doled down to us through a construct to oppress. Yeah, not racism. To oppress any people that hierarchy of religion wanted to keep thumb on. We are talking about Roman Catholicism, which we then expanded into Protestant Christianism, which we now have expanded into Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Wesleyan, Anglican, Evangelical, Jesus only, Church of God in Christ, Church of God by faith. You know what I'm saying? So let's be very clear about what we're talking about. So when people use things to sort of kind of oppress or stifle the life of an individual, of an entity, or whatever it is, they use these types of mechanisms to accomplish that goal. Now, here is the thing I want everybody to pay attention to. Our Savior came on the earth to be confrontational. Yep. But he did it in peace. I want y'all to get this. Go with me to Matthew chapter 10, and we're going to start at verse 34. And I want y'all to flash the mics if y'all get there. As soon as y'all get to Matthew 10:34, I need to know you're there. Facebook, let me know you're there, because I'm going to take my time and walk through this, because I want you guys to get this. I want us all to understand this. All right, come quickly. Matthew chapter 10. Flash your mics if you're there. Clubhouse, we're going to get back to being active. All right. Let us take this time to go into that Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. Listen to this. Now, you know this because of Matthew telling you about, God knows the sparrows that would hit the ground. How much more will he know what you are going through and dealing with? And then Messiah says, if verse 33, Matthew 10:33 says, whosoever shall deny me before men, Messiah says, I will also deny you before my Father which is in heaven. Verse 34 says, listen, think not, listen. Can somebody tell me who's got a Bible that they're reading out of right now? Somebody come off mute and tell me who's got a Bible that has words in red. Anybody reading from a Bible with words in red? Brother Ben, see Mystique. Okay, so brother Ben, see Mystique. Tell me whose words are in red. Who's speaking?
Yeshua. Adonai.
Yeshua speaking, and we know that Yeshua HaMashiach is Adonai in flesh. So we know that Yeshua HaMashiach are the words in red, which means these are the words of the Adonai speaking through the flesh suit called Yeshua, who is one who obeyed the word unto death, that you and I could have hope of salvation, and we could see what a life led by the word looks like and has the achievability. So this is a fact we want y'all to catch. So Matthew 10:33 says, but whosoever shall deny me before men, him also will I deny before the Father. Verse 34, this is Messiah speaking, y'all. He says, and read with me, don't come off mute, but read with me, 1, 2, 3. Think not that I am come to send peace on the earth. Now pause right there. Don't read any further. Pause right there. Look up at me on the screen. If you're on Facebook, I want you to grab your Bibles right now. If you are in Clubhouse, and I want you to look at that first passage. Think not that I have come to send peace. That word peace, people, is the word eirene. That's the Greek word that is supposed to be the translation for the Hebrew word shalom. Listen. Messiah says, do not think that I am come to send shalom on earth. He didn't come to send shalom on earth. Shalom already existed. He was the epitome of shalom. See how I'm pausing because I know it's hitting some of you theologians like, oh, snap, right. Think about it. I did not come to send shalom, eirene, on the earth. Watch what he says. He is the epitome of shalom. He is, in fact, Isaiah 9:6, bar shalom. He is the Prince of Peace. That shalom is the word here, eirene, which is the word peace in the American or English vernacular. Now, watch this closely. Messiah said it. Can somebody tell me who said it? Who said it? Who said it? Somebody tell me who said it. I want to know who said it. Who said it?
Yeshua.
Messiah said it. He says, I did not come to bring shalom. I did not come to send shalom because it was already here. He is the epitome of it. Now watch this, y'all. Watch this. Look at the next verse. The next part of that verse, verse 34. Think not that I came to send shalom on the earth. I came not to send shalom. I came to send a sword.
Wow.
Catch it. He says, for I am come to set man at variance against his father, and daughter at variance against her mother. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And 36 says something even far deeper. And a man's foes shall be they that are in his own household. Now, wait a minute, Apostle. This is you can't go talking about this stuff. I'm talking about confrontation, and I want Christendom to understand how to operate in it better. I want the believers in the kingdom to understand how to operate, because confrontation is something you're avoiding like the plague, but confrontation not being dealt with is why you have the issues that make these moments erupt into things that can't be controlled. Confrontation is not bad. Let's talk about what confrontation is. So let me just pull up a dictionary here and see if we can't help some people understand what confrontation is. Now, confrontation has several different meanings. Okay. Now I want you to get this because it's important. So confrontation, and I'm going to take this from Oxford's dictionary. It's in one form, watch this, a hostile or argumentative meeting or a situation between opposing parties. Now, what I want to make sure I stress here is that the definitions in Oxford, Cambridge, Webster's all start with the negativity. But if you keep going down through confrontation, whether it means conflict or not, I want you to understand here are some other perspectives on the word confrontation. Confrontation is an element of conflict wherein parties confront one another by directly engaging one another in the course of a dispute between them. Now, let me ask somebody in the audience right now who can help us put this together. Can I get a volunteer to talk to me for a second?
Ben. Yes, sir.
All right, Brother Ben, thank you for coming on. Brother Ben, if you and I disagree that a particular property in Malibu fits my financial structure, do we have a dispute?
Say it again.
I'm going to need you to listen. If I feel, bringing you on as a person to give me service, that a property in Malibu doesn't fit my financial structure, but you think that it does because you want to get that sale, do we have a dispute?
Yeah, we do.
Do we hate each other, Brother Ben?
No,
What are you and I going to do about that dispute, Brother Ben?
just talk about it.
We're going to confront it.
Get understanding. Yeah,
We're going to confront it.
got it. Yes. Yes.
But because of all of, thank you, Brother Ben, but because of all the different narratives that we've heard about the relegating of confrontation to negativity and argumentativeness and vitriol, which can play out. Confrontation is what Messiah came to bring, because he didn't come to send shalom on the earth. Shalom was already here. He came to confront the priests as to how they were manifesting, demonstrating, and disseminating the shalom.
I like that example.
That's why he says, I came to set at variance my generation from these forefather generations. That's what he said when he said in verse number 34, when he said 35, he says, for I come to set man at variance against his father, because you forefathers have misappropriated the shalom, misappropriated the Torah. You've now made the halakha. You've now made the Talmud. You've now made the Mishnah. We gave you the mitzvah. You made the Mishnah. You made the halakha. We gave you Torah. You took them and convenienced them into this thing. And that, in the sight of the kingdom of Elohim, needs to be confronted. So when you talk about the word confront, I want as many of you as can, those of you on Facebook, I want you to type this in because I don't want you to ever forget it. And I want you to have paper and pen sitting in Clubhouse world, or if you got notes on your iPhones, you can go into your notepad and make this notation. Confront. I want you to write this way. Con. And then I want you to put under con front. Don't hit send yet. But when you look at confront, what you are doing is fronting an attempt that's trying to con you. When you get out in front of a con that you can sense because you have discernment, you realize it's going to cause a different flow and direction, and that is conning something out of the original intent of Yahweh. So Messiah says, I come to bring a sword. I'm cutting that mess off. Let me show you what's supposed to happen. This thing is conning y'all into sin. I came to front that so you could now get redirected, transformed back into the condition you're supposed to be in. So I'm going to have the sons question the dads. I'm going to have the daughters question the moms. I'm going to show the truth so that what you've been doing, not even realizing you were a part of a con, you now can get back into, watch this, the proper construct of Elohim. So when you front a construct that is trying to get you out of the way of the intention of the author, basically of Torah, you are literally fronting a construct. Is this
Amen.
Is this helping? And y'all not, nobody's talking to me. Somebody.
Oh, amen. I'm getting there.
Amen.
So when you front a construct, you are dealing with a construct fronting, a confrontation. I've got to get in. I hope this construct goes contrary to the way I thought should go. Let's discuss. Let me get in front of your construct you're trying to impose. Why do you feel this is the way we should go? I don't agree with that. That's fronting a con. That's not bad, because the Bible then also tells us in another vein, two cannot walk together
Except they agree.
Except they be agreed. How are you going to know the agreement if you just let any construct which you have not broken down, you are not a part of building, come in and tell you, oh, we've got this, so let's just go with it? No, stop. What's in it? Is that a bad confrontation?
No, sir.
Oh, I think
No, sir.
I need y'all to talk to me today. So if someone comes to your house bringing in a box of liquor, you got 9, 10, 11-year-olds in your home, they're coming in with weed in their ear, they're coming in with a needle sticking at their arm, they're coming in with a gun and on their hip, out totally exposed, they're coming in with a butcher knife, blood on it, coming into your house strapped over them like, you know, some warrior coming in, and then they got boxes of alcohol and clearly box of alcohol opened up, spilling up, and they smoking a cigarette, and they got a spliff in the other side of the mouth, and they coming in talking about, hey, we coming to your house, and they knock on your door and say, hey, we coming in. What are you going to do?
Not so.
So what's that called?
Fronting that
I'm fronting your construct. You can't bring that in here. Let's talk about why, first, you're like this. 2, what's this all about? Let's discuss this, because you may not be allowed to cross that threshold. So my point to that dramatic way of explaining that is that confrontation is not always a bad thing, though we have relegated it almost to negativity. Being able to deal with and front a construct coming into your world, front someone's opinion, an idea that runs contrary to your discernment, is okay. It's done in peace. Follow peace with all men. Holiness, meaning righteousness. So if I'm going to confront you, Messiah says, I did not come to send shalom. Shalom is already here. I'm the epitome of shalom. It's already here. What I'm coming to do is cut away by the sword, watch this, all things that run contrary to the construct I know we presented. Now, when we talk about this issue of sword, Messiah said, I have come. Can I get a reader? Where is Where is Radiant? Is Radiant on here today?
No, sir.
Somebody ping her in. Is Veronica on? Can you read Veronica?
Actually, I cannot.
Arg. Okay, we're gonna let you go. Okay, I need a reader. Who's gonna read for me? All right. Okay. Roundtree, run over to Hebrews chapter 4. As a matter of fact, reverse that. Everybody else go to Hebrews chapter 4. Roundtree, you pick up in Matthew chapter 10, verse 34.
Want me to start now, sir?
No. I want everybody else that's when you guys get over to Hebrews chapter 4, we're going to go down to verse number 11. Let me know y'all there by flashing mics. Let me know y'all there, but let me know on Facebook. We're not going to be much longer here, guys. We're almost done. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Clubhouse, let me know y'all there. Flash them mics if y'all in Hebrews chapter number 4, verse 11. Okay, I want to show you something. Now, everybody just read Matthew chapter 10, so we know what Elder Roundtree is going to be reading. Now, this is how you cross-reference. I want y'all to catch how to read the writ rightly. Pay attention. So in Matthew 10, verse 34, Elder Roundtree, please read. Where is Elder Rogers? Is she here?
No, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
Not. Sorry.
All right. Go ahead and read, please.
Think not that I come to send peace on earth.
Think not that I come to send shalom on the planet. Go.
I came not to send
I
shalom.
did not come to send shalom because I am shalom, and shalom was here before I got here because y'all had the Torah. Deuteronomy 28 is the proof of your shalom, right? So shalom is here. This is Messiah speaking in his day of life. I didn't come to send shalom on the earth. Don't think that that's why I came. I know what the angel said in the night I was born. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn king, shalom on earth. I know that's what they said. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? You just learned something. Maybe you'll stop doing Christmas. So what he's so wrong. So the angel said, hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn king, shalom is on earth. Elohim's will is on earth. Y'all need to know that. That's going to come back later. Trust me. All right. So now think not that I came to send shalom. I did not come to send shalom. Finish the verse, please.
But a sword.
I came to send a sword. All right. So pretty much all of you beautiful Christian people, myself included, we sort of kind of know this issue with the sword, right? Well, he says, I didn't come to send shalom. I came to send a sword. Well, I'm going to run to Ephesians very quickly and tell you what the sword is. How about we do that? Watch. Ephesians chapter 6. He goes on to tell us. He says that in verse number he says in verse number 10, 20, he says, Ephesians 6, 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Verse 13, wherefore put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you might be able to withstand an evil day. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, having on the breastplate of righteousness, having your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, also taking above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench the fiery darts of the enemy, the wicked. Take the helmet of salvation. And take the sword of Adonai. Take the sword of the spirit of the word, because the sword is the word. Pay attention. So he tells them, I didn't come to send shalom. I came to bring the word. Because your version of it isn't what we intended. Does that sound like confrontation? Pretty much. Let's go now. Hebrews, that's where you guys are at. Hebrews chapter number 4. Come on, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 11. Let's go. Now you know what the sword is. Y'all know the sword is the word, right? Come on, it's the 4th of July. It's the 4th of July. And unless you at work or you got barbecue juice and sauce all over your finger from the burger and the hot dog you eating, talk to me. Okay. So we know the sword is the word. He didn't come to bring peace. He didn't come to bring shalom. He came to bring the proper way to do and live the word, which will run contrary to the way they've been taught religiously to do it. Dad is not going to like the way son doing it now. Daughter is not going to like the way mom and them making him do it. There's going to be in your own home. Now that I'm going to bring this, I'm bringing the truth. I'm bringing the sword in your house, daddy, mom. There's going to be a conflict, and your foe is going to be a part of your own home, because I'm going to give you truth. And if you stuck in your religious ways, this truth is going to be a conflict for you. Sound like Christianity today?
Yes, we good. Yes.
Now watch this closely. Hebrews chapter number 4. Look at it. Let's go. I want y'all to get there. Hebrews 4:11. We know what the sword is. Messiah brought the sword. Look at what he says here. He says in verse 11, Hebrews chapter 4. If I get to the right chapter, I'll be okay. Hebrews 4:11 says, let us therefore labor to enter into that rest of Elohim, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. Watch verse number 12. I want y'all to read it with me. Don't come off of mute, but read it with me. 1, 2, 3. For the word of Elohim is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder. To divide something asunder means you put them in opposition to each other. They are no longer connected. He can divide asunder soul from spirit. Why is that important? Because there are many spirits attached to your soul. Your soul is what Yahweh put on this earth to glorify him, and spirits can attach themselves to your souls and make your soul choose to do based on those spirits rather than his spirit. And only the word can bring that division and set you free from spirit attachments you didn't even know you had.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. This is wonderful.
Amen.
Yahweh did not come. He did not send Yeshua to bring you shalom. Shalom is already here. He came to get you off that wrong path and confront the spirits that have you thinking in familiar spirit territory that you're doing the will of God in your religious efforts and in your religious movements. This is not why he came, to say, okay, I'm gonna bless you and what you know. He says, listen, you're doing it wrong. Stop here. Let me front the construct you are in. Once I show you the construct you were intended to be in, then you got to make a choice. But do not think for one moment I came to bless your mess. I came to bring a sword. I came to bring division. Division from spirits you think, because they're familiar, are Elohim. Another place you'll find this very construct and this very truth and cross-reference is when we talk about try any spirit by the word of Elohim to see if it is of Elohim or not. because spirits are going to confront you. Spirits are going to try to overtake you. Spirits are going to come at you. Spirits are going to rub up next to you, cozy up next to you, get you used to it, sort of kind of massage themselves into you to get your soul liking it, desiring it, entertaining it, wanting to be a part of it, until it got you so far off that Yahweh can't see you. More importantly, you can't see him. And what the Messiah came to do was to say, this thing you guys are doing in this space is not what Yahweh intended. I came to cut it off. Am I talking to anybody who wants to know what this means and how confrontation runs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
I want to be explicitly clear here. I have to teach you the spiritual part before I show you the practical application. We've not hit gold yet. We've not struck oil yet. We're still digging through the topography to get to the deposit that's beneath the soil. So don't get excited right yet. But you at least see from this element of how to extract and extrapolate. Watch this. This is the word, you preachers. This is the word. Exegete. What Messiah meant. Verse number 12. For the word of Elohim is quick, powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword. Clearly the reference is the word and the sword. We know that the reference in Paul tells us in Ephesians, the word is the sword and the sword is the word, right? The sword of the spirit, the word of the spirit. Then you find Messiah saying, being the living word, don't think I came to send shalom. I'm the living word. I'm that thing that gives you discernment. Look at what verse 12 says in Hebrews chapter 4. Everybody in Hebrews 4:12. Read 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna read it again. Read with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. For the word of Elohim is quick, it's powerful, it's sharper than any two-edged sword. It's piercing, even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit. Listen, and the joints and marrow. Listen, verse number 12 part. This end part is so important. And is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. Messiah did not come to bring a blessing to your messing. He came to give you discernment of those pushing religiosity and ceremonialisms on you without the intention of Elohim, but pushing a person's separate itinerary and agenda. He is showing you by the word the intents of people's heart, including your own. You ever confronted yourself? If you haven't, you should. If you haven't, you should. I am quite content confronting my mess, confronting my ideas, confronting my mindset. I am quite content understanding that confrontation is not a negativity, but confrontation will show you negativity and then put you on the path to the positivity that Yahweh intended. But if you don't confront, I shy away from confrontations, then you have a problem. You would be the epitome in church of a sheeple. Well, I run from confrontation. Confrontation is not a fight. Confrontation is an explanation and a talk through a dispute of opinions. And the greatest way to have that confrontation is through the word. You'll hear me say this all the time. And I want everybody who can type this in on Facebook, and we're losing them again on Facebook, and that's fine. But those of you who are on Clubhouse as well, listen, type it in, say it for yourself, filter everything through his word. Make that a meme, make that a quote. I don't care what it is. Matter of fact, somebody make me a quote, a meme with a mud puddle, a well, with thank you, Ruach, a ladle scooping out of the mud, but pouring it into a glass that has a filter on it that is keeping the mucky water out and letting the clear water go through. And you see the clear water in the container. Filter everything through Elohim's word. Because even in the junk and the guck and the muck that you get, there's still nutrient. You gotta filter everything through the word. What of it is of Elohim? What portion of it is not? He didn't come to bring a blessing to your messing. He did not come to send shalom, erene. He came to send forth the sword because he sent his word. He sent his word. Y'all got that? He sent his word. I did not come to send peace. I did not come to send shalom. He sent his word, and that healed our land. You have to have confrontation in order for you to be healed. Let me give you another scenario that we have to make sure we get in our mind so we remove the negative enigma that rests with us. And that is this. If I need some nurses, I need some doctors, I need some RNs, some MNs, LRNs, some BSNs, I need some doctors. I need y'all to talk to me. Come off mute. Get your fingers out the mustard. I know the potato salad good, but listen, help me out. Okay. How do you deal with if there is in fact a virus that enters into a person's system? Your aid to that virus is called an antidote. What does the antidote do to an infection? No doctors, no nurses. All right, I'm going to keep moving then. You do not, it confronts it. It confronts it. It confronts it hugely. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you. We can.
Y'all just don't want to talk to me today. Okay.
We're not nurses.
It also
and doctors.
removes the contaminants and things that may cause infection, right?
Pastor, what'd you say?
I'm sorry, this is Spencer. I was saying it also removes the contaminants and things that may cause infection.
Any antidote coming into an viral area or a infirmed area, any type of treatment of that infirmity is removing and or identifying what it is. I think that most MDs and most nurses work on symptom elimination.
This is Janet. I apologize. I could hear you, but I was away from my phone. So within that environment, Apostle, of course, the symptoms is what presents, i.e. fever, things
Right.
like that, and mucus based on breakdown anyway.
Right.
Bacterial or otherwise infection, yes, you're going to give an antibiotic. You're also treating fevers, aches and pains, things like that. So whatever is given eradicates or breaks down whatever infection is there.
Here's the question, though, that I have for that wealth of knowledge you have in that head of yours, which you will probably be able to pour out forever, and we're not going to ask you to do that. But when I put something against a symptom, is that a confrontation?
Yes.
So how would you treat a person as a nurse or an MD who says, I avoid confrontations, and they got this symptom?
They're going to stay sick.
Do y'all get, that's deeper than y'all saying amen to, man. Come on, y'all.
That was good.
You're afraid of confrontation. You know you're in a bad situation that needs to be addressed, but the Lord will work it out. He sent the sword for you to work it out. You're afraid of confrontation. Confrontation is not negative. Confrontation is healthy. I didn't say fighting. I didn't say arguing. I didn't say being petty. I said a confrontation. Front the construct trying to impose itself. And what is it that you want? Are you bringing in elements that are no good for me? You might not know I have allergies to this, so no, that cannot come. In confrontation, you remove the types of issues that have the ability to deteriorate you right away or sneakily over time. Did you know that bartering is a confrontation? And see, in America, we do this thing, and now not just America, but mostly in America, because other countries still have versions of this. I think the UK might be like us. They bougie too. So here's the catch. Watch what happens. We've done away with bartering. Does anybody know why we did away with bartering in America, particularly?
No, do tell.
Anybody else?
No, sir, I don't know. Please tell us.
Yes,
Earl.
please tell us.
The reason we did away with bartering was to control the narrative and for certain entities with special interests to tell you and control you as to what a thing costs. Bartering makes you confront the producer.
Okay.
Why are you charging this much? Let me help y'all. This is what bartering is. Everybody today is making burgers, right? Except me. I'm gonna go find one though. Here's the catch. You made your baked beans. You got your onion. You got your bell peppers. You got your mustard. You got your cinnamon. You got your, I can't give all the ingredients out. And then you make your burger, right? You got your onions, you got your bell peppers cut up, you got your garlic clove, you got your garlic set right, you got your Worcestershire sauce, you got your, you got your little dab of horseradish, and you get that all mixed up, and you might put an egg, and you might not put an egg, and then you make that burger, right? Now, you make that exact same burger, put it out there, and you eat that. That burger cost you so much money to buy the meat in your own home, ground beef. You also put in your condiments, you bought them, whatever they is. So let's just say that burger actually costs you to make in a volume pack, cost you $4. Now that very same burger at Burger Bob's, Burger and Buns, because I don't know, I think there might be a Burger Bob. I don't know if there's Burger and Bun, but I'm giving a name that I don't know it is a store. So you go to this other burger place and they charge you $15 or $13.97 for that burger. Now you just left your home, you just made this burger and the baked beans and the sides and the sweet potato fries and the steak fries to go with it, or the potato chips, the kettle chips, whatever you want to put it, the pickle, the dill, whatever you put on it. That only cost you $5. I got the right to say, bro, why are you charging me $13.59? Okay, I'm cool with your convenience fee. That's bartering. That's confrontation. But bartering is not bad as long as it doesn't come fisticuff. So they did away with the bartering because the marketplaces would have so many loud, crazy conversations, and it was just not couth. So they did away with bartering. And then they says, we're going to regulate how much things should cost. Service should be this much. The industry should look like this. There's a percentage of this. And then those who are making these percentages, they tacked in their fee because they're controlling things. And now you have government. Now you have what you call today retail. You'll see bartering in wholesale. You won't see bartering in retail. Because once they wholesale and they got it, you can't barter then. Am I making sense to anybody? Have you considered this? I'm sorry that I think so deep into these things, but are y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're good, man. Keep it rolling.
Do y'all, you know what? You know what? We go, okay, we'll keep it rolling. All right.
Awesome job, Apostle. Awesome job.
So what we want to make sure we grasp is the reality that we've made confrontation confrontational, and it ought not so to be. So with everything that we do and everything that we say and everything that we share, everything that we desire, everything that we want to be a part of, we need to make sure we realize I'm about to lose power. Minister Walker gonna have my head. Father, have mercy on me today. Let me see if I can switch it up. The issues of being on site. Y'all hold on. I want to make sure I got my battery here. All right. So, do you understand the issue of the barter?
Yes.
How much so do you understand the issue of the barter? And the issue of the what we call the conflict, the confrontation, the confrontation. Anybody? Talk to me.
And
Quick, Gene, go.
knowing so much to when I can't even perhaps negotiate and being strong with my negotiations about a bigger fight, or knowing just whether, like, you know what, I can't even go there, I can't even refute or dispute that, leave it alone, or just don't buy.
Right. Now, what people have done in the retail arena is said that, listen, we come in here to shop, and those of us who got money, we know how much things should cost, and this is how things should go. So, you know, you got your issues over there. Please put me back on. And so all of this that happens is bartering became uncouth. It became uncivilized. And when you barter, you're confronting. Bartering means that, hey, I don't think it's worth that much. Well, how much you think it's worth? All right, I'll give you $5. No, man, no way in the world, man. You can get out of here, man. You ain't your $5, man. It's easy, $4.50. Come on, man. Man, get out of here, man. I don't want that thing. Man, it's not even worth $5. I got two of them sitting at the back, man. I paid 12 cents for it. Why are you coming at me for $5? And then they get back and forth. And you said it wrong. And bartering became contentious in the marketplace. Now, when you don't have the ability to confront something, you can be taken advantage of. I'm not talking about micromanaging. I'm talking about fair value. I'm talking about really getting to understand what it is you're supposed to be getting. And if you just go with the construct that has been since you were born, and you never in all you're getting got understanding, you've never checked it. Messiah said, I come to cut this thing open. I've come to show you that the way you're doing it is wrong. Because what does the sword of our word do, y'all? Anybody know? Hebrews 12. I told y'all, what does the sword that Messiah brought come to do?
Divide asunder.
Yeah, y'all being churchy. What does it come to do?
To confront those that don't believe in Torah.
All right, somebody else. What you got? What does it come to do? Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. What is it? What's the real reason we come to that verse? Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12.
Veronica?
Go, Veronica.
It's a discerner of the
Thank you, Veronica.
Okay.
Yes, it's a discerner. If you don't confront, you're never going to know a person's intention. That's why when you come, for instance, into what I call marriage counseling, this is why people don't want to get married under my kind of counseling. Here's why. Because you know how you want something so bad, and you just set yourself up to psych yourself up to have it. And so when candidates for marriage like how he look, or like how she look, like how they kiss, or like how she kiss, or whatever it is, that thing that they do, and they make me feel, oh, you make me feel weak at the knees. Can we talk just for a while? Whatever. And it's all wonderful. But see, when it comes down to making a lifelong commitment, there needs to be confrontation before you say I do in unity.
Apostle?
I don't know who that is. Who's that?
Apostle Hinkson.
Shalom to you. How are you?
Shalom to you. Praise God. Amen. Okay, we know I was laughing loud here. You said, can we talk for a minute?
Amen. I know you're getting into that deep spot of your confrontational. Amen. I'm enjoying your teaching, by the way. I'm just sitting here.
Good to have you.
From the Jamaican place to the Jamaican. Amen. I'm enjoying the confrontation of the cutting of the heart. So keep going, Apostle. I'm down here cheering you on.
Oh, Yahweh be praised. It's good to see you again, too. I mean that from my heart. But it's true, because people don't realize that before people get married, we don't understand the value of confrontation in marriage, pre-marriage counseling. One of the biggest institutions of the kingdom of Elohim in the earth for community is marriage. And because she says, ooh, I like him, he says, ooh, I like her, ooh, I like what they do, ooh, I like how they smell, ooh, I like how they talk, ooh, I like how they walk. We think that's enough to get married. And then when you run into a person like me, I'm like, no, we got some stuff to confront. You got to pour who you are out on this table before that person. And you might not do that. That's why I despise dating. I despise dating. Well, wait a minute. That's me. You don't have to. Go with it. Hope it works. Here's why I despise dating. Because dating forces you to put your dressed up, veneered, best foot forward all the time.
Tell the truth, Apostle.
And at the end of the day, you don't dress up all the time. Sometimes I don't shave my bald head. And it might look cute for the 5 o'clock shadow, but that 9 o'clock shadow, that's a whole nother ball game. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Ladies, y'all know y'all went here and got that hair, relaxed. It might look cute for like a 1/4 inch new growth, but at 1 inch of new growth, y'all not going to talk to me. It's okay, but I'm keeping it real. So, and you don't like always wear, you look cute in those stilettos. But them joints hurt and you ain't dressing up in them stilettos every time you want to go. You are not, once you get married, dressing up in those stilettos. You are slipper bound, talking about I bought me some Hugs, some Uggs, and I'm wearing these. They ugly. You was in stilettos when I met you. Now you in Uggs and flannel. You can't dress up.
That's hilarious.
You can't dress up. You don't wear that weave that way all the time. You don't have time to be constantly putting down the fake baby hair in the front of your head.
Oh my word.
I'm just telling it.
Call it. Call it.
You don't wear that girdle all the time. You don't dress up in that girdle. Got that thing strapped you up, got the corset on. You can't even half breathe. You don't wear that thing all the time.
Come on, Apostle. It hurt. Come on.
You dressed up. That's what dating does. It dresses you up. Listen, I'd rather you put that on with me and I get dressed up in my veneer with you so we know we're going out to present to the world an image of us, but we gonna be bare with each other. If you ain't got no hair, let me know now. Stop telling me because you glued it in, you got hair. You ain't got it. I'm still going to probably like you because I shouldn't be liking you based on just what you look like externally anyway. I need to confront you. I need to confront your soul. I need to confront your issues when you're angry. What would you do? What are your morals? Where are you at about the things that the world goes through and how do you get affected by it? Who are you? I need to confront how you are when you are giddy, how you are when you are angry, how you are when you are rich, how you are when you are poor. Will you leave me because we had to go out and get a rental apartment as opposed to investing in 18 houses? Which person? I got to confront all of that because you do walk nice. Them stilettos, you look good in them. You do. I promise you. And the way you walk pigeon-toed like that, make your cheeks go up. Yeah, that's a good move. But you don't walk like that all the time.
Pigeon-toed? Make your cheeks go up. Come on now. Who are you dating? I don't know where I am.
She said, where am I? Where am I?
Apostle, where's pigeon-toed? I need to look that up.
Listen. Hey, listen. When they walk pigeon-toed, they make the knee knock and then they hit the heel. is supposed to do. Y'all, I'm not gonna. Y'all know.
Okay,
They act like I don't know. I was raised about a whole bunch of women, and I seen it what they did to get what they wanted. Okay. So here's the catch. Dating is why I despise it, because when you don't, if you want to get married, let your dates be confrontations. Wear your sandals. Wear your slides, wear your sweatsuit, go take a walk through the park. No makeup, none of that. You wear makeup when you're going to somewhere special. If that person is going to be with you, you can't keep giving them this front.
Amen. True.
Amen.
The young people say it this way now with this TikTok and with this IG and with this social media. You know, I didn't realize that until I saw somebody do it. I'm like, that's a filter. You online dating.
Come on.
I can't marry a filter.
Stop. No, please. Say that.
That's a filter. I saw it with my own eyes. They put the filter on and all of their acne went away. Forehead full of moles. Gone. It's true. Am I lying? Am I lying?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Keep it real.
We must start medication.
Keep it real. Keep it real.
We didn't put ourselves in situations. So what has to happen is dating gives us this false sense of security, and unrealistic people really think he smells that way all the time. He don't smell like that all the time. I promise you. When he comes home, he's not gonna smell like Sauvage. She does not smell like Chanel all day long. I promise you. And the Listerine tabs they give, they keep popping in their mouth every 5 minutes on the date. That's not their natural breath. When you finally get married, you're going to sense the hellaciousness that comes out of those bowels.
Confrontation. Come on, Apostle. Confront.
You've got to be able to show each person the raw. You can't do that without confrontation. So for me, the best way to help a couple potentially to have success is to help them with the issue of confrontation, because nobody wants to show what the world has said is the ugly of you, because your first impressions are everything. Boy, did we mess that up. You have to front the con they're presenting. Some of y'all dated so long, you dated a con the whole time. And then after 2-3 years of marriage, you're like, he is not what he said he was. And she is not what she said she was. And you dated a con. You didn't front the con. I know it seems a little bit hilarious. Dee napkin ministry to Dee Brisbane, please. She's on the floor. Get her up. Somebody help her up. Do y'all understand that? And though it may be some level of humor, there has to be a confrontation. And that confrontation has to go on for a period of time until we can spell out the dynamics. So now watch this. Let's just use marriage as an analogy, guys, just as an analogy. Don't lead into this and think more into this than it is, okay? But if you're going to get married, I want to see you brick ugly. I want to see what you look like when you wake up. I know Beyonce said I woke up like this. Y'all ain't Beyonce. We ain't all Beyonces. We ain't no. You woke up. What that look like? Send me that pic. That's the one you sent. Post that pic. You know, because that tells the real you. Now, guess what happens? Watch this, watch this, watch this. When you don't date that way and let them keep doing that stuff themselves, watch this closely. She can help you build an image of you, a veneer of you that both you and her like. Brothers, you can help build a veneer and an image with her, of her, that you both like. But you know what it looked like off rip.
That's good.
I'm trying to help somebody have a build a marriage. Build your bride. Build your husband. We running out for, you needed Urkel, but you went after Stefan. Not realizing that Urkel, if he's dedicated to his work, you want the bad boy already pre-dressed, got the gold tooth in his mouth, got an earring on his ear, got a little swag with him, got his chest hairs all out every time he see you, and he blowing his horn of his big long, Cadillac, whatever he got. But Urkel's sitting in front of a VW Beetle and in front of a computer, got a little a clip on his a pencil clip on his pocket clip on his pocket, and he's got his glasses all crooked on his eyes, not realizing that if you get Urkel and you get the understanding of who Urkel is and what Urkel does, aid Urkel in what he does, and then Urkel what he does, because of your aid now blesses your entire family, your whole relationship to be this big thing, you can then, Mr. or Mrs. Fashion Statement, change him, show him, hey, babe, you keep working. I'm going to be your stylist. How about that?
I believe that.
That's fine.
And Urkel's like, okay, because baby, I don't know how to dress. I ain't been in the streets for a minute. I got you, honey. Okay, but I'm gonna keep making money. Go get that bag, boy. And then she gonna be sitting there like, okay, call Louis up. Okay, call Burberry. Okay, call because we can afford it based on what he's doing. And now I can build him, make him look like something I like. And if he likes the fashion, he likes it too. But we built this image together. And what we've done in these things is that we talk about, oh, were you trying to change me? No, you came in a certain way. We never decided what we were going to look like.
And hats.
Confrontation brings all of that out. Doesn't mean it's negative. My job is done here. I hope that I've been of help to you guys. I know we took an extra 30 minutes to talk about a very serious matter in our society right now. But I want y'all to put in there. I mean, if you single ladies, like, Yahweh help me build a groom. It's not going to be done by dating. Ladies, brothers, if you're looking for a wife, you got to help. Say, Yahweh, help me build a wife. It's not going to happen by dating. None of the people that you saw. When Boaz met Ruth, was Boaz looking like the goddess of Moab when she met Boaz?
No.
Y'all know when she was a goddess in Moab, she was fly, right? She was fire. She was a goddess. She was dressed to the nines. She smelled. She was in fragrances and aromas and everything, right? But once she converted, by the time Boaz met her, she wasn't dressing like that. She was in a burlap sack. She was on her knees in some dirt, picking out some fruit. All her roots and sweated out. You know what I mean? Whatever color she had in, that's gone. That's just gone. You know what I mean? She dirty neck around her neck, behind her ears, fingernails just got dirt all inside them. She was working, and Boaz still found her to be beautiful. What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Wait a minute. That man went and met with Naomi and said, who's that girl? She was dirty. She was sweaty. She was in a burlap sack. She had her hair wrapped up. She had no figure. You couldn't see her figure because she was overladen. She wasn't, there was no cellulite showing. There was no prints showing. There was none. She looked like a potato sack. And he still said, who's that girl? When Jacob met Rachel, when Jacob met Rachel. She is in shepherd's garments, watching and working over 3 different shepherds of sheep, and she is the boss. She ain't got on stilettos. She not sitting there in pomegranate juices and oil flowing and smelling all over her body. She is in work mode. She's sweating. She got a script on her purse. She got a water bottle in her hand, and she got her hair with a pick in it, trying to keep the wrap on her head so she can stay cool. And he comes by and says, "Who's that girl? I'll work 7 years for her." She wasn't dressed then like she was at the actual wedding. Y'all didn't expect that part, did you? But we're talking about confrontation. So when we deal with confrontation, Messiah was very clear. I did not come to bring the arene. I did not come to bring the shalom. I came to bring a sword, which means that the way we are we're disseminating, and the way that we are operating and demonstrating in this so-called faith runs contrary to the way Yahweh intended it. So I'm going to bring the sword so you can have intentional discernment of the people presenting what they're presenting, and you can front before you let it move you back. You can front that thing trying to give you its construct and its belief. Filter everything through the word. Confrontation, believer, is not bad. It requires an inquiry. What exactly do you mean? If I don't understand what you're saying, can I tell y'all what confrontation did to y'all? Now, I want y'all pastors and leaders to catch this too. Confrontation took on a negative connotation because of a thing we do inside of our churches. Pastors, if your people ever ask you a question about something that you taught and you tell them you're just being confrontational, that's a spirit of control. Answer that question. If you don't know the answer, say it. Because that confrontation lets that person know that we got to go find this answer. Because if we as leaders ever make it sound like we are the last stop to all knowledge, we do not point them to the Father. And because we don't like confrontation, we don't like people showing us that we might not know something. I love it when someone comes and says, "Hey, Apostle, what about this? You know, I hadn't thought about that. Now you've given us something to go study. Come on, let's go find out about this." That confrontation brought us into unity. But we've only been told confrontation causes disunity. It's not the case.
That's good. That's good, Apostle.
Amen.
Apostle.
Who's this?
Mr. James.
Yes, sir.
James, can I have a good confrontation with you? Hey,
Sure. I don't run. I don't run from nothing. What you got?
my man, I love you, bro. Hey, so in the beginning, when you first of all, you talking about confrontation, I think this was like spot on. I learned a lot, but you used the word dispute, right?
Correct.
And I thought to myself, well, because you were talking about Yeshua, I thought refute was a better word, and can I tell you why? Because I never read, nor have you taught me or us, where Yeshua was argumentative with anyone, but when it came to refute means to prove someone wrong according to word or anything else. He constantly refutes those Sadducees, Pharisees, scribes, and so forth and whatever. So I was like, man, what about the word refute? And the second thing is, will you give us an example of, you said something else that was so interesting. You said you confront your ideas. I never heard anyone say that. But yeah, I've confronted myself after I have said or done something wrong, even looked at why I did it, but never my ideas. Can I hear what it sounds like for Apostle BW to tell me what it's like when he confronts his ideas? Because it sounds like you said before you do it, your ideas leading to that thing that you may have done.
Will do. I understand your point. So your first point is about the word refute. Refute is a great word to use. That's fine. However, we are talking about when Messiah says he did not come to bring shalom. He came to send a sword. He didn't come to send shalom. He came to send a sword. And what he would do is not he would rebuke, but the word refute also is synonymous with the word you find in your Bible called reprove. Okay. So people confuse and think that reprove and rebuke are the same thing, and they're not. So when you reproof something, it's like proofreading in a very generalized version. If you'll let me do that just for the sake of getting through it. When you reproof something, you're refuting it, meaning you are vetting it out. Now, if the conversation between the two is mature enough to be had. So refuting can look like rebuking, and rebuking can look like contradiction and can look like the negative version of confrontation. But anytime you confront something, it is okay to ask why. Something you guys need to confront more often too. Oh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble here. If you have an attorney telling you to take a plea, ask him why. If you have a physician who's maybe not seen you, you're on the roll, you're part of their health program and insurance plan, and they see you on a general basic thing, and they say, "Oh, well, you take this and take that." Why? Ask why. Yes, we value your knowledge and your position, but just tell me why I'm taking this, and I need a real answer. Not I'm the doctor. I said so. What? What do you think? I'm stupid? You say no. Really? Why am I taking it? Did something change? Show me my blood, because your job is to help me, doctor, learn my body. Attorney, why am I taking this? Why are you saying I should take this plea? Tell me why. What could happen if I don't? Can this be expunged? Matter of fact, is expunging even something real? Pastor, you're saying that we should give this over. I don't see that in the writ. Can you help me understand that in the writ? That refuting is about reproofing. Okay, you thought something a certain way. I'm going to show you where we get it from within the governance that we use. And that is even up for inquiry. So in reproofing, refuting, you find what Messiah did. He came to bring and send the sword, because that was the refute, that was the reproof. And yes, it did culminate in many instances for rebuke. Does that help part one, Brother Eugene? Is he there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, I'm gonna need you to come. I'm gonna need you to come back quicker. Okay, so now the second part, with regards to what does it look like for me to confront myself? You know what, y'all? You know you. And there are certain times I may say I want to do something, and people always say, "Well, I'm so humble. You know, I'm meek. It is what I'm so humble." And I check myself all the time. Am I really being? Am I really being humble, or am I, or is it that I know if I act like this, people will see me this way? But am I really that way? I am notorious for looking myself in the eyes in the mirror. Matter of fact, yeah. So even if I teach a message to you guys, like I tell y'all before, has anyone ever heard me tell you how I prepare sermons for the ministries that I'm in? Has anybody ever heard my little process?
Yes, sir.
Who was that first voice I heard? Nobody saying their names.
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think I heard Roundtree and Rogers. Okay, Rogers, what do you think? What's the process?
First of all, you live it. and then you're able to preach it.
Okay, that's true. I want something deeper. Roundtree, what do you think?
I was going to say the same thing. You say when you get the revelation, you live it out for 6 months before you even begin to speak on it.
Okay, so what happens is when I get the when Yahweh gives me the reveal, it usually comes from a life experience. But then when I get the reveal, I begin to dissect that. So what I'm studying right now, even though in our midrashes, and you see me all day with y'all on midrash, I'm studying something and some other stuff that you guys will never get access to until 3 to 6 months later. Because I got to live out that revelation. I got to prove that revelation before I ever speak about that revelation. See, that's your problem with pastors. They get a revelation and run to the press with it.
Come on, sir.
And you never let the press get the oil out of you. See, instead of running to the press, the media press, we need to run to the pressing floor and let Yahweh squeeze out the oil and press down the grapes and press down the olive that you are. And let that oil come out. And once the oil comes out, see, because though the olive is a revelation, though the grape is a revelation, it's beautiful, and you can eat it whole. But if you press that out, you can get two different things out of that. You can get that pulp for something else, and you can get the oil for something else. You can get that juice for something else, and you get that pulp for something else. You get two beautiful items if you run to the pressing floor rather than run to the media press. Live that out. Taste that. Let it ferment. That's really deep. So while I'm in that pressing, Brother Gene, and I'm saying I got this revelation, I go through life and then I'm adapting that revelation. And then I check myself. I'll pull myself to the corner and I'll go right to the mirror and look at myself in my eyes. I'm like, you fronting. Because if I can see right through you, and if I can see right through you, everybody else can see right through you. What you really want when you do this? Why'd you really ask for that? Why'd you really talk to that person? What did you really, because you called them and said, da, da, da. What's your real motive, man? Is this really something of God? Is this something you just did because it seemed to be the right thing to do? Were you just trying to be helpful to the person? Or did you really believe Yahweh told you to do that? I check myself on just about every, I have no problem checking myself and asking myself, what are you doing? Is this from Elohim or is this from hell? Is this from your proclivities or is this from something that that Yahweh is really pressing on you? And can you find it? Go find it in the red. So Brother Eugene, everybody does it differently, but for me, that's what it is. We call it introspection, sort of kind of like a little bit, but it is about understanding who you are. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'll come back and ask myself in many instances, even on broadcast when I'm in services and people ask questions and I might find it like, okay, you're just not getting it. Was I mean? Was I being cruel? What was I really trying to help them find the matter? Or did I just get frustrated because I was frustrated earlier? What's the situation? I'll check myself. I'll literally have a conversation like I'm looking in this camera right now and talk to myself. Michael Jackson did one great thing for me. He gave me 2 albums, Off the Wall and Man in the Mirror. I live life off the wall. You might not ever get that until I teach it. Because y'all know I preach off the wall, right? And then he wrote a song called I'm Looking at the Man in the Mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. I'm not talking to y'all. When y'all get a message from me, I have first been partaker of that fruit. For real. And in multiplicity. And before I serve it to you, I've seasoned it to taste. I don't just get the revelation and go right to the press with it. I got to live with it. I got to rock with it. I got to put it in the fridge, take it out the fridge, put it in the oven, take it out, reheat the leftovers, and then reproduce it for you all at another time. That's a real process. And I think that's why people can resonate. Even if they don't like my presentation, you can't fight the facts. All right, Brother Eugene, does that help you a little bit?
Helped me a lot. I'm glad I asked the question. be my best question asked ever to you.
Man, check yourself. Go check yourself. There you go. I'm a good question asker.
Yeah. Good stuff. I appreciate you.
No problem. All right, so everybody, I want y'all to realize that confrontation is not relegated to negativity. Confrontation is necessary for positivity. It is necessary for forward progress. You must confront things. If you do not confront things, and you will just be run over by things, and now you become a follower and not a leader. And you can still be a great, great, great follower because you are following people who will help you say, hey, this is why we do it. And now you have that knowledge, and these things are gotten through confrontation. Confrontation is not negative. It is based on doing all things. You do all things in love. You do all things in peace. You don't do it to be. A proper heart of confrontation says, what am I doing? And why are we doing this? If it is about community, I am all about community. I am all about commonwealth. If I raise an issue that's controversial, I'm not raising it just for me. I'm raising it for them after me and them alongside of me who don't know how to present it, who don't know how to be an advocate for themselves. And so for me, I got to make sure I'm not doing it for self-gain, because if that was the case, I could easily go out here and get with some of this stuff that we're doing for nonprofit and get all this funding from Ford and from Chrysler and from Daimler and from all these hedge funds and say, we're doing this. And they can say, oh, we'll just use that nonprofit as an outreach ministry. I can go to all these churches like I've seen some pastors do to my embarrassment and ask these churches to, here, let us be your outreach. Just to solidify a job. If Yahweh is giving you a vision, dear heart, he is all of the provision you're going to need. The moment you let someone else become the provider for a vision you say Yahweh gave you, you just you sold yourself into slavery. And Yahweh gave you a vision for liberation. I hope you know I'm talking from pain. Spencer, I think I heard you.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. This is such an enriching conversation, and one that it just needs to be had. It needs to be said. And what I like the opening passage that you use, because that really set the tone, and it just got my mind turning and my heart stirring. When Yeshua said, think not that I am come. Think not that I am here to send peace. And the purpose of confrontation, the bottom line is reconciliation. And conversation is the relationship. And if you can't conversate, there is no relationship. And so when Yeshua said, think not that I am come, that I am here, well, then I thought about when here is troubling. How did we get here? And we got here avoiding conversations, and especially one conversation at a time, and how we move from here into what Yeshua wants for us, which is relationship. We have to have the conversation of confronting one conversation at a time. Mm-hmm. And I have been in situations when I've had to confront people, and what they want to do is throw in the kitchen sink, the garbage can, and they want to have many conversations in one. And that will never resolve anything. But when here is troubling, and we know that there's a confrontation and a conversation that needs to be had, it's because we didn't do the conversating prior to that moment. And now people are saying, well, you're confrontational. But the end result of confrontation is reconciliation, because it's a conversation about our relationship.
Here's the thing I'm going to step in here with you on. That's very good. That's very good, Pastor Spencer. Listen, what the part that you said I wanted to really put a pin to is that confrontation usually comes because of a lack of conversations about a particular movement.
Absolutely. And it builds up.
And if you did not converse about a way forward, you don't know what you're doing. Two can't walk together except they be agreed. You can't even come to agreement, reconciliation, until you know what it is you're dealing with. And that means there's an identifier, and it's called in a bubble confront. What's in the bag? Let me tell you something. You know what? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Ooh, y'all ready for this revelation? Tell me. Come on. Y'all ready for this revelation? No? No. 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 Watch this. Let me see if y'all ready for this. Pastor Spencer. All right. Someone sends you a package in the mail. It's in a box, pretty big, taped up really good. You don't know who sent it. You don't know what it is. You open it, but you don't sense that there's a problem. You have no discernment that there's a problem. Your school, somebody sent it to you, and then they may even call you and tell you, "Hey, look, I sent something to you in the mail." Okay, that's a scenario, right? And the person that called you and said that, you really Gucci with. Everything is gravy. Everything is fine, right? Y'all hunted, right? And did y'all know that opening up that box meant you confronted it?
Never looked at it like that.
Right, that part.
Interesting.
Because you open the box and you look into the box, that's a confrontation. Why did we just run this to a regulatory, or why do we relegate confrontation to such negativity? You are inquiring in a confrontation. You are conversing in a confrontation. You are inspecting in a confrontation. Some of us bought trash because we didn't confront it. Okay.
That's good, Apostle. I hadn't considered that about a gift. But the other example that we have in Scripture is when Apostle Paul withstood Apostle Peter face to face. They had a difference of opinion, and instead of letting it fester and cause a devise, Apostle Paul went and had a conversation with Peter.
He confronted him. He got in his face.
Yes, he did.
And the point wasn't to be angry
negative.
with negative. It was to help the people. And Paul is like, Peter, bruh, what are you doing? Watch it. And this goes back to that point where you got to check yourself. What did Peter do? Did Peter do? This is me thinking. Did Peter do this because of his reputation and fear of James and the apostles coming in from Jerusalem, or what? I mean, like, really, what was the reason for doing that? Because this was all for Peter's gain, so he could look like, oh, I'm down here keeping it down, keeping it 100. You know, I mean, but in truth, you've got into a relationship with these people, and now you're looking prejudiced. You're going to make these people feel some kind of way. And Paul is like, bro, what are you doing? Just because James and them came in, your perspective that you got to look like you're not eating this stuff and you're not look like you're not bro, you're going to offend these people. We are trying. We were sent down here to cultivate. He has to be confronted. Bro, what kind of sowing do you think we're doing here? This is not the image. Did that change Peter's life forever? Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Absolutely. It wasn't that him and Paul had a fisticuff. John Mark. Confrontation. Barnabas.
But it's all about relation.
The
bottom line.
You cannot get reconciliation without confrontation.
Amen.
Great job, Pastor. Great ad. All right. Listen, guys, it's been a minute. We're going to get done with this. Okay. So I hope that you guys have all learned something. Go enjoy your burgers and your hot dogs and your I hope y'all eating well. Don't eat a lot. Eat enough. Stop being gluttonous. Eat well. Enjoy family and enjoy time. It's such an honor to have you guys hanging out with me today on this proceeding word. I hope it was edifying to you. To all the leaders that have joined us and been here with us today, we're so glad to have you. Apostle Hinkson, it's been so long since I've seen you. So good to hear you. I hope she's still on here. Is she still here? She leave? I'm not sure if she left. All right. I think, Apostle, you still there? I think she may have left. It was good to have her with us today. Also, dear, who else we got in here? Major daughter, good to be with you. And MDMTV is also a pleasure to be with you guys as well. All the pastors that are here, Pastor Spencer, Pastor Leslie, Elder Faison, Elder Rogers. I'm not going to go down that whole list, but it's such a joy to have you with us and sharing with us. Evangelist Janet R., good to have you. Shalom to you as well. Doreen, good to be with you. Geesh, hey there. All right, everybody. Pastor Montgomery, there you go. Elder Page, good to be with you guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed yourself. I hope you'll be able to take something away from this confrontation. Remember, we're going to come back next week. Actually on Wednesday. I got to get this off my heart, y'all. We got to get this. We have to confront this matter. I think it was pretty cool that Yahweh allowed it to happen this way, because I've really stayed out of mainstream on these issues, even though I'm in the streets every day trying to mend fences between LEOs and civilians. LEOs are law enforcement officers, in case you guys don't know, because they're not just cops, police on beat. LEOs are law enforcement officers, sheriffs, PD, truant officers, children, family services, all of that. This is a bigger thing than we know. So we'll be talking about a lot of that this coming weekend. All right.
Ben, I had a question.
All right, Brother Ben, what you got?
I just had a quick question from earlier. I was just wondering if there's a difference between confronting versus Bible thumping.
A huge difference. Bible thumping is a bully. Anybody who comes at you and says, hey, 15 different passages of the scripture, 15 passages of the writ, you're a bully. And you don't know what you're talking about, because there's no reason to have 15 different verses for a word unless you went and just studied a dictionary or studied the concordance or study that word, how many times it appears in the Bible. And because a word that may be probably being misinterpreted in a given scenario, you know enough about it to say, here's 15 other passages with that verb and that word in it. But Bible thumping, that's abusive. A Bible thumping is bullying. Bible thumping that's not of Elohim. So yes, Brother Ben, great question. Is Bible thumping different than confrontation? Though Bible thumping is a form of confrontation, our point here today is that confrontation has been stepped away from because it's thought to say, if you're confronting people, you're not being peaceable. Well, you can't have peace. Listen. Did you know reconciliation? You can't have peace unless you've had a war. I teach a message called the peace of war. You don't get trucing unless there's been a major confrontation. And confrontation is also synonymous with war. You can't have peace. You can't have reconciliation unless there's been a war. And a war is a form of confrontation. Brother Ben, does that help a little bit?
Yes, and then I have one more question.
Look, you and Brother Eugene, you keep that little spirit. I got a question, then hit me with 18 more of them. Willie, get your husband.
This is a good one.
Sister Willie, can you get your husband?
She's busy flipping.
You got her cooking. Okay, smart man. All right.
My other one is a good one. It's when Yeshua was flipping the table, was he confronting the people in the temple?
Was he sending a sword? Yes.
Oh,
He wasn't Bible thumping, but he did bring a sword. He actually revealed the intent of those people's hearts. Our problem within Christendom modern day is that we feel entitled to the interpretation. So we don't realize he's talking about those priests not giving Israel the proper protocol to approach the Father. Whoa, right, that part. That wasn't Bible thump. That was him bringing a sword. I'm not coming to bless this mess. I'm coming to give you the intent and coming to give you the appropriate way this is supposed to be done. And he flips over those tables because that's not how it's supposed to be done.
Thank you.
No, you're more than welcome. Do me a favor, give Willie a big, big, big hug for me. I mean it. If I don't hear about it, I'm gonna come get you. Give her a big hug for me and tell her keep flipping them burgers.
I got you.
All right. Thank y'all for listening in today. And I pray that you know that man shall not live by bread alone, but man shall live by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Remember, confrontation is not negative. It is necessary for any success. A business meeting is a confrontation. It is necessary. It is necessary. So confrontation is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And also there's times that confrontation does need to be mediated if it's negative in nature. But a confrontation can also be good in nature. Don't just assume and relegate it to the negativity. My job is done. Proceeding word has been accomplished. We are again on location, guys, and we're doing a lot of things. We need your prayers. Of course, you know, prayers are support, so that Yahweh can give us the right instructions. We trust him in all things, and we're asking that we can represent him well in all things. So keep us in your prayers and join faith with us that the will of Elohim is done. And in these times, he can be made manifest by our efforts. This is our earnest prayer. Okay. Well, we're going to let you guys go. Moderators, quickly take us out of here. Tell us why we're here.
Shalom, thank you so much for being here with us on Proceeding Word. We broadcast every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have visibility on Facebook at VWJ Ministries, where you can access all of Apostles' recordings. Also to note, we're here every Wednesday for our weekly Bible study at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and again on Thursday at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. where we open up for our Bible book club, where we are taking a very slow and exhaustive read through the book of Genesis. We honor Sabbath, so we start our Sabbath Midrash studies at 11 p.m. every Friday. And we invite you to come and join with us as we go from Genesis to Deuteronomy, and we put those studies up again at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. We are an operational and functional ministry, so we'd like for you to come and join us every Sunday where we open up for our Morrow After Sabbath service, where we broadcast live from Facebook, and we open up the doors here on Clubhouse for you to join us. Just remember, you can also share this broadcast. Click the green house so you can become part of the Preceding Word family. And thank you for being here with us today. Apostle, back to you.
Well, I am grateful again for the opportunity to be here with you guys, and we are hoping that you realize that all things come from Elohim. He is creator of heaven and earth and all that therein dwells. The issue is learning how to manage what he has allowed to come your way, which is why you need his word. There was one other thing I was going to share with you guys. I think I want to let it go, though. I want you to enjoy your meals, your celebrations, if you're in America anyway. 4th of July is what you're celebrating. Independence Day, they call it. Enjoy the meal, enjoy your family, enjoy your good times, enjoy your dogs. But when we talk about confrontation, being more confrontational does not mean being ornery, does not mean being mean, does not mean being rude or disrespectful or nasty. It means to inquire. Remember, what you give out, you're going to give back. So just because we're talking about confrontation, it's not a matter of, you're not rude. If someone asks a question or they're trying to do something, say, well, what are you trying to do? What you mean what I'm trying to do? No, what are you trying to do? Don't let yourself get caught up in their attitude because of their ignorance towards your inquiry.
Come on.
Do all things in love. That's the believer's posture. Father, we thank you for the day, your word, your will, and your plan. We ask you to be with us, through us, and toward us for your name's sake and for your praise. There is literally none like you in the earth. We magnify the holiness of your name, and we take this opportunity to say thank you for sharing with us. We hope that we can glean well, learn, share, actually now manifest your kingdom in the earth in another new dynamic way. So Yahweh, bless these your people. Bless all those that are traveling. I pray you that are in your faith, that are in your word, that are believing in Yeshua HaMashiach, that he lived, died, rose again by your great power. They believe it in their heart. They confess it with their mouths. Bring them all home safely on their journeys, all their legs of travel. Take them to their places of celebration. Get them to their places where the fireworks will be. I pray you now for safety. Yahweh, Sabbat. You are the Lord of the heavenly hosts. Cover them, protect them. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just letting you know we acknowledge you as doing it. So therefore, you're free to do all that your heavenly host wants to do to your people. We're not going to get in the way. We're going to try not to. And we're thanking you for caring for us. Who are we that you are mindful of us and that you visit us? So thank you. Thank you, Yahweh. Thank you, Yahweh Tzabat. Thank you, Ruach HaKodesh. Thank you, Adonai. You are our Elohim. Now, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh lift his countenance upon you and grant you all 13 attributes of his shalom. All right, guys, we're going to
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope that this message has been a blessing to your very life and your soul, and more importantly, your walk with the King. Well, we have come to the end. I hope that you would consider becoming either a partner with us in ministry, or if you're not already a kingdom citizen, consider becoming one. By doing that, you can sow into this ministry so that we are able to continue to teach this type of ministry at a grand scale. Join us on all of our social media platforms and visit our webpage to make your contributions sure. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Shalom Aleichem.